Aloe, great for healthy skin and soft, shiny coats.
But no itchy, harsh chemicals.
Lather up, rinse away.
Try Doggo Suds. Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dinovite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful, full-featured wallet that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH, with anyone, anywhere in the world. It supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available on Windows, Linux, Mac, Android, and iOS devices. Use the Bitcoin.com wallet to buy, send, store, and receive both Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH. Learn more at wallet.bitcoin.com. That's wallet.bitcoin.com.
It's been said, any society is only 3 missed meals away from chaos. Those times may be near. Think about it. Our country faces multiple terrorist threats and aggressions from Russia and North Korea. Social unrest and violent marches yet again may lead to looting of stores and city shutdowns. And our crumbling infrastructure leaves our power grid vulnerable to long-term outages from a single cyber attack. When the chaos from any one of these threats arises, the government knows it can't provide during a widespread national emergency. That's why you need your own plan for self-reliance. That's where My Patriot Supply comes in. Get a 4-week survival food supply for only $99. That includes breakfast, lunches, and dinners. Order online at preparewithgcn.com. $99 for 4 weeks of survival food that tastes like homemade cooking and lasts up to 25 years. From My Patriot Supply. Get your kits today at preparewithgcn.com. Free shipping is included. Preparewithgcn.com.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com. Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster. So be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
In Survivor Max 2, School Bites, Max must scavenge through a wasteland swarming with the undead. Desperate to find the medicine he needs, he discovers a community of survivors at his former school. Has he finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at survivormax.com.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. You can dial in toll-free and take control of the airwaves here. Our number, 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We've got Skype as well. At Skype username LRN.FM. Here in the studio tonight, I'm Ian.
Thomas.
And Darryl.
Also, want to make sure you know about Bitcoin.com. Maybe you're new to the world of cryptocurrency. Well, there's no easier website to remember to go and visit and learn about it. Bitcoin.com. That's where you can get started. You can also get your first Bitcoin BTC or Bitcoin Cash by buying it through the site. They will connect you with a way to do that. You can mine it through Bitcoin.com. They got a mining pool there at pool.bitcoin.com. They've got a great news site that's updated constantly with information about what's happening globally in the world of cryptocurrency and Bitcoin. So go to news.bitcoin.com if you want to see the latest news headlines. There's so many great features there at bitcoin.com. You ought to go and check it out when you get a chance. Again, that's bitcoin.com. To the phones as we continue. We'll talk more about what's happening with legal cannabis in Oregon. The claim from the Guardian is that medical users are suffering because of recreational, but that's not really an honest headline. Their headline claiming how legal cannabis actually made things worse for sick people in Oregon. No, legal cannabis is just a plant. It's just a flower. Cannabis didn't do anything to make things worse for sick people in Oregon. It's the government who is standing in the way and creating problems and conflicts. Let's go first, though, to Thomas. He's in Buffalo, New York, claiming to be listening on the radio on somewhere on the band that doesn't actually exist in the AM band. Thomas, are you actually listening to a radio station with us on it?
Hi, yes. Hey, there's a site on human trafficking. Danielle Sittel.
Okay. You're banned from the show. I've told you multiple times, Mr. Sittel, you have called multiple times and ignored that, and I'll just start dumping your call out if I hear your voice again in the next, let's see, what was the first ban we did on him? 2 months? 3 months? 4 months?
Sure.
So 3-month ban on Doug Sittel. Look, we don't have a whole lot of rules here on Free Talk Live. Thomas, I know you're new to the show as far as hosting behind a microphone. We're pretty open show. There, if you want to call into Free Talk Live, we don't really ask you to tell our screener a whole lot. What's your name? Where are you calling from? How are you listening to the show? So, we like to know if you're listening on the radio or if you're listening on the internet or whatever.
Watching on Twitch, YouTube,
and then I don't need a whole lot of details as far as your topic. One word is sufficient. And that caller, whose name is not Thomas, he's called in the past. His name is Doug.
Right.
And his subject that he was supposedly calling about was freedom of the press. But no, then he went into his usual spiel about his YouTube channel, which he plugs every single time he calls into the show, about some sort of conspiracy against him in New Jersey, which has resulted in him being locked in a mental institution or a jail, depending on how he's feeling.
And he's got hours-long videos where he just
he supposedly
reveals.
He supposedly reveals in his videos, it's hours of audio that he's recorded surreptitiously to reveal the corruption in
I thought it was just hours of audio of him talking about the things.
No, they're supposedly recorded, not wiretapping, but secretly recorded conversations. And he's been calling about it to the point where if you keep calling about the same thing, we're going to tell you need to change it up.
Right.
Because Free Talk Live's an open phone show, meaning that anybody can call in about anything they want. Whatever topic it is that you want to have discussed on the radio, you call in about it. It's that easy. But if the topic you want is the exact same thing,
I want to promote my YouTube channel. No, you don't get to promote your YouTube channel for free. If you want to promote your YouTube channel,
for that.
Send an email to mark@freetalklive.com.
Yeah, and then, we'd be happy to promote your YouTube channel, maybe, if we think it's worth. If Chris Cantwell calls up, we're not going to take his money to promote his YouTube channel. So, we're not going to say yes to everybody. But, so, people who call repetitively, we've warned him. And I warned him again the last time he called in, and now no more warnings.
Yeah, and I think the last 3 or 4 times that I've been on the air where he's called in, he's used different names.
Yeah.
Hopefully this admonishment helps him to learn.
He's on hold right now, so hopefully he's listening to this, and I don't know if he's going to learn, but he's got 3 months to sit it out. I'll have to make a note on my calendar about that. I'm not even going to thank you for the call because that was awful. All right, we continue here. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. So what's going on in Oregon? Why are they saying in The Guardian that sick people are suffering? Don't blame the recreational cannabis because, again, as the lady in the other article about Oregon pointed out, she's a medical user and the price difference isn't worth her paying the $200 a year for the medical card that she has to pay for in order to be a medical
So
user.
did she actually mention any of the other differences in price? Is the medicinal cannabis taxed at the same rate? I believe in most states it's taxed at different rates if it's taxed at all.
Well, she doesn't say in this story, but I mean that's her experience, right? whatever amount she's buying per year, it ain't worth it. She's paying more for the price difference is not worth it.
Right.
She'd rather pay a little more and not have to deal with the bureaucracy and not have to go through and get a $200 card every
Right. So some of it could be not wanting to, deal with filling out the papers every year in addition to the fee. So she might wind up being, financially behind after whatever extra cost and taxes.
Could be.
But it's not worth the hassle of filling out the papers.
So let's get back into the story here from The Guardian, where they point out that the Oregon Health Authority, which is, again, a government bureaucracy, is saying that there are areas in Oregon that have so-called opted out of recreational sales. And because they also don't have easy medical access there, those medical patients, because a lot of these medical providers have shut down due to the recreational sort of explosion, that's tough for those people in those areas. But again, that's a problem with government, not with recreational cannabis.
Right.
The woes of the Oregon Medical Marijuana Program, or OMMP, were outlined in a recently published report by the Oregon Health Authority. The analysis found the program suffers from, quote, insufficient and inaccurate reporting and tracking, also inspections that did not keep pace with applications, and insufficient funding and staffing. So basically, the Oregon Medical Marijuana Program, which again is a government program, is a government program. Right. Like every other government program. It's slow, it's stupid, it's awful, it's just getting in the way of everything. They can't keep up with their applications, which means that people can't open their doors sooner rather than later to help the medical patients. They're just doing a poor job in general across the board. Operating outside of Salem, Oregon, PharmX, which is one of the only 3 medical cannabis providers remaining in Oregon, primarily makes extracts, which is a solid or liquid form of concentrated cannabinoids. Through his OMMP licensed supply chain, he gets his high-dose medicine to people who suffer from cancer, Crohn's, HIV, and other autoimmune diseases. Many of them are end-of-life patients. These days, most recreational dispensaries sell both consumer and medical products, which the medical products are tax-free for those cardholders. The problem for Berkovitz is that he's only medically licensed. That means recreational dispensaries can't carry his extracts. So his business is suffering because a lot of these medical-only dispensaries have shut down. He only has one location now distributing his products, and he doesn't have a recreational license. Once again, government standing in the way. The fact that a recreational license exists at all is an impediment to the marketplace operating to its maximum efficiency.
And the fact that the recreational facilities can't sell things that are medical grade.
Well, they can. The recreational...
I thought you said that he makes medicinal stuff that cannot be sold at the recreational facilities.
But they can be sold at medical facilities, and many of these
and that's what I'm saying.
Sell both. Many of the dispensaries sell both.
Okay.
However, earlier in the story, it says that there are currently only 8 medical dispensaries left standing, and I guess he's not licensed to even be in any place that allows recreational, right? So there's a bunch of recreational places.
Government regulation causing some problems.
Correct.
His product can't be sold in the recreational facility,
which is stupid,
because government.
Because some bureaucrat, some politician and bureaucrat decided that this will be the rule. We need this rule because
for the children
or something.
Yeah.
Legally, they can only sell They can only sell products from. Recreational dispensaries can legally only sell products from companies with an OLCC license. So there's the OMMP, which is the Oregon Medical Marijuana Program, and then there's the OLCC, which is the Oregon Liquor Control Commission.
Yes.
So make sure you've got all your licenses, or else sick people are going to die.
All the O's and the other consonants and vowels and...
Since issuing almost 1,900 licenses, the OLCC has paused on accepting new applications until further notice. So these bureaucrats just get to arbitrarily decide, oh, well, we've figured the market's got enough of these licenses now, so we're just going to take a break for a while. We'll let you know when we come back. More on the way here. It's Free Talk Live.
Heart-related health problems affect millions of people each year. Maybe you're one of the many who suffer from issues related to angina pain, high blood pressure, congestive heart failure, unbalanced cholesterol, irregular heartbeat, or clogged arteries. There is a solution that doesn't involve expensive prescription drugs that only mask the problem and leave you with horrible side effects. If you are ready to live your life free of sickness, pain, and fear, live your life with increased vitality, energy, and youthfulness, and experience your body healing itself, then you're ready for Heart and Body Extract from Healthy Hearts Club. Here is what one satisfied customer had to say about Heart and Body Extract regarding his angina pain.
I haven't had an angina pain since I've been on it. The Heart Body Extract is just so great. I thank God that I was led to this product that's doing so much for me and that can do so much for other people.
Call to order your 2-month supply of Heart and Body Extract today. Call 1-866-295-5305 or go to hbextract.com.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com.
Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Friday, August 3rd, 2018. Silver is trading at $15.47 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,215 per ounce. Zen Cash is trading at $24, and the average price of Bitcoin is $7,365. Antiwar.com reports on Wednesday the 2019 National Defense Authorization Act, NDAA, included a lot of details above and beyond just spending $716 billion on the military. 2 provisions were in the final bill focused on dealing with civilian casualties in America's assorted wars. The language requires the Pentagon to create a high-ranking civilian post at or above the level of an Assistant Secretary of Defense who would be in charge of establishing uniform processes on recording strikes, investigating reported casualties, reducing risk to civilians, and establishing a uniform standard for both acknowledging responsibility and offering payments to the families of victims. The other provision is in addition to the 2018 NDAA's demand for civilian casualty reporting. This new version clarifies the previous year's language, noting that the Pentagon never complied with the initial requirement, giving a report that was both late and incomplete. While the 2019 provisions go much deeper in trying to provide very clear requirements, the problem with last year's version raises the very likely possibility that the Pentagon is just going to ignore the language again. The creation of the high-ranking civilian post seems aimed at that, with an eye towards having someone to complain to when the reports don't arrive. The Pentagon's increasingly secretive attitude in recent months and their well-established policy of drastically underreporting civilian deaths suggests Congress is going to have to go to great efforts to get such reports submitted. Zencash is the world's first private, distributed, and reliable platform for communications, transactions, and publishing. Zencash has the ability to use both transparent and shielded transactions, with shielded transactions using zero-knowledge proofs. Zencash features global governance with inclusive decision-making, reliable funding for continuous improvements, and documentation and wallets in many languages that are available for Linux, Mac, Windows, and Android devices. Learn more at zencash.com. UPI reports a group of 4 cities filed a lawsuit against President Donald Trump and his administration for violating the Constitution by attempting to sabotage the Affordable Care Act. The cities of Baltimore, Maryland, Chicago, Illinois, Columbus, and Cincinnati, Ohio, along with 2 individuals, filed the lawsuit in the U.S. District Court for the District of Maryland, alleging Trump violated Article 2 of the Constitution, which requires the president to take care that all laws be faithfully executed while they remain in place. Although attempts to repeal the Affordable Care Act have failed, Columbus Columbus City Attorney Zach Klein said that Trump has sought to sabotage the healthcare law through his words and actions since he took office. The complaint cites actions taken, including making it easier for individuals and trade groups to purchase coverage outside the law's insurance markets, threatening to eliminate cost-sharing reduction payments, cutting funding for those who help individuals enroll in the program, and using federal funds Congress dedicated to implementing the law towards making videos criticizing it. When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Reuters reports Native American tribes that tried to block the Dakota Access Pipeline during a months-long standoff with authorities in North Dakota more than a year ago are carrying on their fight in federal court in what they contend is a symbol of their ongoing struggle for tribal sovereignty. Danielle Tashina Finn, a spokeswoman for the Standing Rock Sioux, said, "People think Standing Rock has come and gone," referring to the site of the protest. "But we will continue this fight until we are heard and the world knows what happened to us." The pipeline, owned by Energy Transfer Partners LP, has been operational since June 2017 after President Donald Trump granted its permit over the objection of tribes and environmentalists fearful that it would pollute a waterway sacred to the Standing Rock and Cheyenne River Sioux. The pipeline approval, part of Trump's desire to increase domestic energy production, distressed Native people in the United States and Canada who were concerned that it discounted indigenous rights. The Standing Rock and Cheyenne Sioux sued the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers soon after Trump ordered it to approve the pipeline, arguing that the tribes had not been properly consulted. U.S. District Judge James Boasberg in Washington, D.C. is weighing whether the Corps adequately considered effects on the tribe before approving the pipeline. He is expected to issue his decision by August 10th. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
Shortly after members of the New York Police Department found a super sharp Buck brand pocket knife earlier this morning, Lieutenant Joseph Mattioli spoke to Onion reporters at the scene of the discovery to update the public on this potentially deadly blade.
At 8:40 a.m., police discovered what seems to be a pretty badass buck knife. Investigators believe it to be basically the deadliest knife ever.
Mattioli confirmed that the pretty cool wood-handled knife has a clean edge and added that the blade must be, quote, at least like 8 inches long.
At this time, we'd like everyone to be aware that there's probably a man out there with an eye patch and scars all over his face that has access to these knives, or maybe even a samurai sword. We urge people to be careful when approaching him because he may flip out and chop both your arms off before you even realize it.
Following the announcement, Mattioli asked people to come forward if they had any information about the owner of the knife or if they just wanted to hold it for a couple of seconds. For more on this story, check this week's Onion Review.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Free Talk Live. You can dial in toll free here at 855-450. Free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We've got Skype as well. Skype username LRN.FM and the Discord on-air call-in line room at discord.lrn.fm. You can jump in, hop into the top room in our Discord chat server, which is available to you to get on the air with us. Of course, you can call in about anything you want. We don't have a whole lot of rules here, although we did just have to ban somebody. It's very rare that we'll do that. I think I can count on one hand the number of times in a dozen plus years of doing this how many times people have been banned.
Right.
It's very, very rare. So you can call in about anything that you want. With you here in the studio, it's me, Ian.
Thomas.
And Darryl.
We'll go right back to your calls and thoughts and then get deeper into this story about why The Guardian is claiming that legal cannabis has made things worse for sick people in Oregon. When the reality is, as they reveal in the story,
government regulations have made things worse.
Right. It's government licensing, government regulations, government rules, government slowness, government stupidity, government incompetence. That's what's causing problems in Oregon, because otherwise you'd just have people growing flowers and selling them, because that's all the cannabis business is. It's just people selling a flowering plant.
Yep.
The flowers from that plant in various different, products.
I'm just thinking of somebody becoming a florist and just putting a bunch of cannabis arranged very nicely.
I bet you can get that. I bet somebody's doing that somewhere. Let's go to your calls, though. It's Lloyd in Detroit watching us on Twitch. And the Twitch feed, by the way, is over at twitch.lrn.fm. Go ahead, Lloyd.
Yo, what up? It's Lloyd from Detroit. Yeah, I was actually just wondering if you guys and your advertisers that pay top dollar to advertise on your show would be cool if I just plugged my YouTube channel for free real quick.
No, not at all.
Well, I mean, if somebody has a really good call or whatever and they get we toss them a free plug, that's one thing. But you're referring to the guy who got banned from the show just a moment ago because he incessantly calls and attempts to get free plugs in for his YouTube channel. And again, it would be one thing if the channel was really awesome and we really loved the videos. Like if we loved somebody's YouTube channel and that person called in, we'd be like, heck yeah, you can plug your YouTube channel. But this guy's channel's awful.
Like if that dude that works, I think he works at University of Alabama Huntsville or North Alabama.
What's he do?
He's a rocket scientist. Smarter every day. If that guy called in, dude.
You totally plug his channel.
Plug it. Right? Tell us about that backwards bicycle that nobody can ride.
I did subscribe, though. So he got one new
You
fan.
Subscribed to Doug Sittle's YouTube channel?
I had to.
So you guys were watching it during the top of the hour. You were actually going
If by
and
watching it,
yourself.
you mean I clicked through to listen to him.
Yeah.
And it was a bunch of him, and then some hidden audio that sounded like he had the camera stored internally.
Yeah. So go ahead, Lloyd. Anything else you want to talk about?
I mean, I'm trying to figure out how I can turn this into a Lauren Ruppler sex joke, but I can't think of anything.
Thanks for the call tonight, man. I appreciate hearing from you. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. Let's talk to Bad Slave. He's on Skype. Go ahead.
Hi.
Hey there.
Sure. Yeah. Let's go with the government. It's out there, and everywhere else, medical stuff. They say, well, don't tax it. Don't interfere. Support it. Everywhere else where you're trying to get something medicinal, you should be enabled all the way clear. There should be a clear path to whatever your needs are for making yourself healthy. The idea that they're going to charge $200 for a card so that you can get medicinal cannabis, that's just idiotic.
Not only that, it's highway robbery. Right. I mean, you're extracting hundreds of dollars from the sickest of sick people some of whom can't even leave their home to go and get the stuff. They have to hire a person to bring it to them.
If they're just starting their treatment, they may not even be able to, work themselves to pay for any of this stuff. There should be, a thriving cannabis charity to support people's needs in this regard. And why we're not screaming at the top of our lungs at these idiot government people for interfering with people's health and welfare.
Because most people want to beg. Because most people, especially the sick people, they for years have come in front of these government panels, these government commissions and committees, and they have begged to just let them access their medicine. I mean, I don't blame anybody for being upset. Bad Slave, you're right. There's nothing wrong with letting these people have it. Like, you are doing a terrible job. Just get out of the effing way and let people grow and sell their flowers.
Or gift. And Bad Slave had mentioned, there should be some kind of charity that's, helping sick people. There's government regulations that wind up, making it illegal to give stuff away.
Sure.
At least a charity that would help them try to pay this $200 magical administration fee.
Well, I see what you're saying there, but that's what needs to change, is those fees just need to go away entirely. Yeah. There's no benefit to anybody for paying that fee. The only benefit is the men with guns will not throw you into a cage if they catch you.
Name something else that you can either buy over the counter or need a prescription to get, that you then have to go pay some special fee to be able to purchase. I'll wait while you think.
Opiates.
Yeah, right. Well, the other thing is...
you just, if the doctor prescribes it, you go and you pick it up. There's not a special, I need a special opiate card.
Yeah.
Right.
And the government doesn't provide you with anything.
Why do they you know why they want the card is so that they can label you a user.
A card
user. And then, look at that. People smoking pot and, carrying a firearm? Oh, my God.
Yeah, it's all about control. And the government wants information about you, and they want, data on you, and they want to be able to tell you what to do, and they want to be able to create more bureaucracy and expand their bureaucracy. Yeah. I can tell you the Oregon medical program isn't going to see a slash in their costs. They're not going to reduce the fees down to $100 per year. If anything, they're going to raise it over time because they want to hire more bureaucrats. To do what exactly? Process applications? Well, it was said here in the article at The Guardian, they're behind on processing applications. Quote, inspections that did not keep pace with applications. So they have so many applications in that they don't have enough bureaucrats or whatever to actually get out there in the field and go and inspect the supposed medical facilities that they're supposed to inspect. So as a result, they just have to wait around. They can't do any business. Oh, nope, you can't open your doors yet. You don't have your permission slip. You don't have your license. Well, I'm waiting on you. Well, sorry, we're just going to take our sweet time getting there. Well, wait, we're paying you all this money for all these fees. Well, we just don't have the bureaucracy. I guess we could hire some more bureaucrats and raise our fees.
And what is wrong with people out there that wish to supply these needs? I mean, why is there such a threshold for folk out there that want to, there are people out there that want to work on specifically creating better medicinal products for cannabis users.
But they're hamstrung by these government regulations.
It's ridiculous. Why is not the mainstream media? I mean, I know the answer here, but why is there not just an outcry?
Yeah, I hear you, man. Thank you for the call tonight. There's more coming up. It's Free Talk Live.
This November, I'll be running the world's biggest and most popular marathon, the New York City Marathon, as a member of Team Innocence Project. The Innocence Project was the first legal organization to systematically apply DNA testing to cases of wrongful convictions as a powerful tool to reveal innocence. So far in 2018, the Innocence Network has welcomed 32 wrongfully convicted people home from prison for crimes they did not commit and had a record-breaking 850 people unite in Memphis at their annual conference. The movement of freeing the innocent and reforming the criminal justice system is growing and would not be possible without your support. Together as 68 network organizations around the world, they've helped exonerate 513 people who spent a combined total of 7,804 years in prison. They've also worked together to pass over 150 laws in the U.S. to help prevent wrongful convictions. You can support the Innocence Project by going to run.freetalklive.com. That's run.freetalklive.com.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful full-featured wallet that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH, with anyone, anywhere in the world. It supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available on Windows, Linux, Mac, Android, and iOS devices. Use the Bitcoin.com wallet to buy, send, store, and receive both Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH. Learn more at wallet.bitcoin.com. That's wallet.bitcoin.com.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
Are you making sense to the boomer mindset? I'm Holland Cook from survivalspeech.com. 80 million baby boomers comprise 25% of the population and control most of the USA's wealth. As aging parents pass on, they'll control more. Boomers are 46 to 65 years old and regard themselves as midlife. They identify as neither young nor old. They're post-minivan and pre-retirement, and they don't like being called boomers. They think me. Many of the purchases boomer couples make are individual purposes. They've been experimenters all their lives. If you want their attention, tell stories and keep it simple. If something seems complicated, boomers can dismiss it as, I don't need this. And if you're looking for work, you may be applying to a boomer, so relate accordingly. From survivalspeech.com, I'm Holland Cook.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You can dial in toll-free, bring up whatever's on your mind. Our number here, 855-450, free like freedom. Our last caller, rightfully frustrated by the government bureaucracy getting in the way of people just simply being able to grow or sell or even give away a plant that has wonderful properties, not only for people who want to go on some kind of a spiritual journey or want to just relax after work or have a medical need that this solves or at least helps reduce the pain or whatever the symptoms are dramatically. No, we got to have a bunch of government bureaucrats standing in the way. We have to have entire bureaucracies being created to regulate, to come up with a series of arbitrary, because that's all it is, just some bureaucrats decided, or some politicians decided X, Y, and Z must be done to control this plant. And it's one of the most harmless plants on the planet.
And
Cannabis.
in a lot of cases, it is some group of bureaucrats, or in the case of Maine, where the article here from the Press Herald from a couple months ago says that the State Department of Administrative and Financial Services must hire a consultant to help the state write the regulatory rules.
So they can't do it on their own. They got to bring somebody else in who's seen the regulations in other states and then tell them, okay, you need this, this, and this.
Yeah, so those regulatory rules would include inspections and licensing of wholesale commercial growing facilities, licensing of retail sellers, and collection of sales taxes.
Right, because you need to have an inspection, because why exactly?
Well, we've got to make sure that everything's properly labeled and children can't reach it, so it's all got to be on the top shelf, even though you've got to be 21 to enter the store.
Yeah, I actually got the questionnaire from MPP, which is the Marijuana Policy Project.
Oh, I've not gotten theirs yet.
It's short. It's only 3 questions, but I actually had to answer no to one of the questions on that questionnaire. So, Darryl, you and I are running for political office here in New Hampshire. You're running for a state representative position.
Correct.
I've been here a while, so I qualify to run for the state senate position in the area. And, of course, MPP is one of those organizations that they do good work. They've lobbied for a long time in every state to try to end cannabis prohibition. So, kudos to them for that. But they're one of those groups that's pushing regulation. They're pushing legalization. That's their solution. And I understand it because that's what they feel like they have to do in order to get through prohibition. In order to end prohibition, they have to hold the money underneath the politician's nose and say,
and
look
by
here.
legalization here, you mean tax and regulate.
Right.
I don't think anybody would dare say that tomatoes are not legal, but there aren't special tomato taxes.
Right. So one of the questions is actually, and the first question was, nine states, including all 3 states neighboring New Hampshire, have passed laws making cannabis possession legal for use by adults. Do you support making it legal for adults 21 and older to possess marijuana in New Hampshire? And I answered yes, but then I added a comment saying, well, I actually support it being legal for anyone to possess and grow, distribute, use, or sell cannabis. I don't care if they're 17 or 19. They should be able to have this plant. And then the number 2 question was about other states passing laws regulating and taxing the production and retail sale of cannabis. Do you support regulating and taxing cannabis for retail sale to adults 21 or older? I had to say no. I don't support taxing and regulation, and I explained that, saying I support ending prohibitions, not regulating and taxing, which continues giving the state control over a harmless plant. If there's ever a chance for this to happen, it's in New Hampshire.
Right.
If there's ever a chance, and I don't think it's a good chance, I expect New Hampshire's going to get a stupid regulation scheme just like the other states because they're going to copy and paste, whatever the text is, the boilerplate is for this regulatory crap.
Well, the problem is there's not boilerplate.
There's got to be.
There's mismatch.
8 different states.
And they all have something different.
Drastically different. Well, maybe that'll be a good thing if it's not something they can easily do here. Maybe they'll.
Now, one thing that I would support, not that I support, creating taxes, but if, by some chance I were a state rep and there was a piece of legislation to tax and regulate, but it specified that the tax in New Hampshire would be 0.1% lower than the lowest tax of any other state.
Yeah,
I would support it.
Yeah, that would be much
as
more
a compromise,
palatable. Yeah, if New Hampshire was,
as long as our tax is less, okay.
Yeah, if the entire regulatory burden, tax burden in New Hampshire is lower than all other states, I could begrudgingly support something like that
as a compromise.
Yeah, as a compromise. So Anyway, back to the story here at theguardian.com about what's the problem in Oregon with why is it that medical dispensaries are shutting down? Why is it? Yeah, it's the government. They're getting in the way. And now the OLCC, which is the Oregon Liquor Control Commission, who handles regulating legal recreational cannabis.
Right, because the whole lie in Oregon and Colorado and most of these other states is we're going to regulate cannabis like wine by creating a completely new regulatory system that does not exist for wine.
Yeah.
And so here they say the OLCC has paused on accepting new applications until further notice. When will that be? Somewhere in the future, maybe, when they're ready to start taking new applications again for
keyword
recreational.
there, maybe.
Right. Limits on THC, there's more here. A powerful active ingredient in cannabis products are also an issue, according to Berkovitz. Berkovitz is one of the he runs a company that is Pharmex, and they make extracts primarily, and they were doing medical products, but he doesn't have a recreational license, and right now he can't get one because the OLCC shut down, so basically his business is faltering. because he can't legally operate.
Right, and it said that he can't sell to the recreational facilities because he doesn't have the recreational license.
Which they're not issuing.
That they're not issuing. This is the fault of government. This is not the fault of, they're letting just anybody buy weed now, so screw the cancer patient.
A medical edible, typically in the form of a sweet treat, is now capped at 100 milligrams THC, which Berkovitz says is not enough for a really sick person. He says, quote, if you need 3,000 milligrams a day orally and you're capped at a 100 milligram candy bar, that means you need 20 candy bars, which cost $20 a pop. So you're spending $400 a day to eat 20 candy bars. Whereas if they were legally allowed to just put more cannabis in there, you could have just a couple candy bars or one or whatever that's just loaded up with the THC. Berkovitz says the dispensaries never worked for high-dose patients, even in the medical program. What worked was people who grew their own and were able to legally process it themselves or go to a processor who did it at reasonable rates, unquote. But with an increased processing and testing costs and a decrease on the number of plants a medical grower can produce, patients are likely to seek cannabis products in a more shadowy place, the black market. Increased processing and testing costs. Those are government regulations.
Yes.
Because without a government license, you won't need the, mandatory costs. It would be whatever the costs are of the marketplace and what it demands.
Right.
So because the market's restricted, costs go up. Because of regulations, costs go up. And who pays those costs? It's not the corporations. It's the consumer.
Yep.
It's the medical user. It's sick people who are paying for all of this bureaucracy, this huge layer of government on top of the production of a plant that has flowers. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. But the government wants you to believe there's something still evil, something still wrong with this plant, that it needs to be controlled by them, and it doesn't.
Hi, I'm Patrick Kolbeck, and I'm running for governor. Michigan roads look like the surface of the moon. We need to do better than that, but I'm tired of being told that we don't pay enough in taxes. In 2015, 81% of voters rejected a tax increase. What happened after we said no? Rhinos in Lansing raised taxes without a vote of the people. Then they actually transferred $400 million from the transportation budget to fix potholes in their expansion of Obamacare. As governor, I will be focused on road quality, not tax increases. Principled solutions prioritize your best interests, not lobbyists. Paid for by Patrick Kolbeck for governor.
Angie's List has collected millions of verified reviews of local home service providers, and now they're free for everyone to read. Angie's List makes it easy for you to find top-quality service providers in your area for any type of home project. Search for a great pro in your area, or let Angie's List instantly match you to a few who can do the job. To get the most reviews from real customers, all for free, go to angieslist.com today.
Free Talk Live.
It hasn't been unheard of for the police to insert an instigator. These are things they do, believe it or not. They'll have a plainclothes officer go into the protest and act as though he's one of the protesters, and then the plainclothes officer will start something with another one of the police.
Oh, come on. This sounds like a conspiracy theory now.
This is not a conspiracy theory. These are confirmed occurrences. Let's give the cops a benefit of the doubt and say it really was some instigator starting stuff with the cops. Does that mean that it's appropriate to flush every single person out of the park with rubber bullets, tear gas, and other sorts of offensive devices?
Doesn't seem like it to me.
Wouldn't it make more sense to stop the person who's instigating, to, put a stop to those specific individuals?
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live, dial on in toll free, bring up whatever you want. We're talking about how government regulation is hurting sick people in Oregon. The Guardian got their headline wrong. They claim it's how legal cannabis has made things worse for sick people in Oregon. Nope. Nothing about this has anything to do with cannabis as the problem. The problem is the government creating all kinds of licenses, regulations, mandates, costly things that are being layered in on top of what would normally be a very simple business of growing a plant and selling it to customers. And not only that, in some cases, they're just not even giving you a license. In some towns, they won't even let you open a facility. So it's, once again, prohibition and regulation that's getting in the way here. We've got more to say about it. Your calls and thoughts are certainly welcome. You can join us toll-free, 855-450-FREE like freedom, 855-450-3733. AnyPay is the solution for those of you out there who have a retail establishment. Maybe it's a dispensary. Maybe you've got a cannabis dispensary in one of the states in which it's legal. If so, you know the trouble that you've had with all the cash coming in and trying to find a bank that's willing to take it from you.
Yep.
Because banks are scared to death of doing business with cannabis businesses, even though they know they're legal in whatever state they're in.
But there's still the federal things that say if you know something is illegal, then you can't do business because something money laundering, even though it's not against the law at the state level.
Right. And they're just afraid generally of, the feds don't like it, so therefore we should just stay away from it. It's just not worth our time opening up an account if the federal government's going to come in and raid our bank or whatever. Mm-hmm. So AnyPay is a solution for point-of-sale cryptocurrency acceptance. So you can use AnyPay.global, go and get signed up there. All you need is a username and password, and that's it. There's no process. There's no approval. There's no bureaucracy. There's not even a form. There's nothing that you have to get approved or submit besides create a username, create a password, and you're in. And then you put your cryptocurrency wallet addresses in for your destinations in the setup page. Load the app on whatever device at your point of sale. You're done. You're accepting crypto. It's that easy. We all live here in the Keene, New Hampshire area where real-life crypto acceptance is a thing. Thomas, you're the newest of the three hosts here tonight.
Yes.
You got to try this out recently at Corner News, which is one of the longest-running crypto-accepting businesses in town. Was it easy for you as a new user?
It was. It was very straightforward, at least the one I'm using, which is Coinomi. Konomi.
I think that's what you... Yeah, you went with that one.
So I have that one.
But that's the wallet on your end. That's the customer's end. On the other end, it's the business that has the point-of-sale system, and that's what AnyPay provides. They provide that.
They basically just have that tablet, and your phone
you scan the
scans
code,
Yep.
You hit the send button.
It takes about 20 seconds.
That is a long time. So that may be an internet issue at the location. Usually it's like a second or, no more than a couple seconds before the tablet indicates ding, paid. And you're done. You move on. You're done with the customer. You get to your next customer. It's so easy to use AnyPay. Go to anypay.global and you'll be able to accept Bitcoin, BTC, Bitcoin Cash, Dash, Zcash, and more. Once again, that's anypay.global as we continue here with all the problems that are facing medical cannabis dispensers and growers and even the recreationals there in the state of Oregon, according to TheGuardian.com. With increased processing and testing costs and a decrease on the number of plants a medical grower can produce, patients are likely to seek cannabis products in a more shadowy place, the black market. Carla Kay, chief of operations at PharmX, which is one of the wax distributors. They're distributing concentrates. Medical concentrates. Quote, all the people that we made these laws for, the ones who are desperately ill, are being screwed right now and are directed to the black market, she says. She also holds a medical marijuana card for her kidney disease. Said some patients she knows have resorted to buying high-dose medical marijuana products illegally from local farmers markets in a state that was one of the first to legally establish a medical cannabis industry back in 1998. Moreover, the networks between medical patients, growers, and processors have diminished. The OMMP, which is the government program for medical marijuana there, maintains a record of processors and the few remaining dispensaries, but no published list of patients or grow sites, a privacy right protected under Oregon law, much to the chagrin of law enforcement. According to the Oregon Health Authority report, just 58 of more than 20,000 medical growers were inspected last year. In eastern Oregon's Deschutes County, the sheriff's office and the district attorney have repeatedly requested the location of each medical marijuana grower in their county. They've been consistently denied by the Oregon Health Authority.
Good.
Yeah, I agree. That is good news. Recently, the sheriff has gone as far as hiring a detective to focus solely on enforcing marijuana operations. According to the sheriff in Deschutes County, quote, there's an overproduction of marijuana in Oregon, and the state doesn't have adequate resources to enforce the laws when it comes to recreational marijuana, medical marijuana, as well as ensuring the growth of hemp is within the THC guidelines. Boy, these people just never give it up, do they?
Nope.
These cops will never let go of control. They can't just sit back and let people grow a plant. Nope. They got to know where every plant's being grown. They got to know how much THC is in the plant. They're going to come and they're going to act like they are experts on the matter. And if you're growing one plant too many, you're going to get charged. You'll be arrested, and then your entire operation will be shut down.
And they'll hit you with trafficking.
That's right.
Yeah.
And the claim is, ooh, they're growing too much marijuana, and that means that some of the marijuana is being sold on the black market because they want to make more money and they're evil.
Wouldn't that be good for getting rid of the cartel? And
well, yes, actually it would. It would be good of getting rid of the cartel. But the police
you're trying to use logic.
Yeah. The police aren't concerned with that. They don't actually care about the cartels.
Yeah.
They just care about control. They want control over this plant and every individual who's involved with buying, selling, distributing, growing, all of it.
Right, and this is one of the big, huge, giant problems that I have with this proposal at the federal level that they're calling the States Act that would basically codify into federal law that as long as somebody's complying with state laws on cannabis, then it's good. But as soon as they violate the state law, then it becomes a federal thing. So somebody in Deschutes County that grows one too many plants or has a plant that grows 6 inches too tall
could be subject.
All of a sudden, now it's a federal offense and it's going to a federal court, and then they're getting thrown in prison with Ross Ulbricht.
It could, if they inform the feds about it. They could certainly bring in the FBI or whatever.
They probably will, because a lot of states are getting away from the civil asset forfeiture. Well, if we just call the feds and the feds come in and then we do this switch off, then we wind up getting 80% instead of the 35 to 40 that we were getting if we went through the state.
According to the numbers here, as of last February, the state database logged 1.1 million pounds of cannabis flowers, as reported by the Willamette Week back in April. That's 3 times what residents buy in a year, which means the excess is slipping out of the regulated market. To help curb the trend, they claim, Senate Bill 1544 was passed to funnel part of the state's marijuana tax revenues into the Criminal Justice Commission and provide the funding needed to go after the black market, especially when it comes to illicit Oregon weed being smuggled to other states. The program's priority is, quote, placed on rural areas with lots of production and diversion and little law enforcement, said the legal counsel with the Association of Oregon Counties who crafted the bill. So they're now taking marijuana tax revenue. So the marijuana users who are legal are paying to enforce a government program against the very growers from whom they are buying.
Wow.
So the money that you're paying on the tax bill, if you're buying in Oregon recreationally or medically likely, you're going to enforce. You're helping.
Well, they said the medical was exempt from the taxes.
Good point. So yeah, all recreational users, you're helping enforcement against the black market, against the very people who used to sell you weed back in the day.
Right.
You're now funding the targeting of these people. There's more coming up here in moments. 855 450 free like freedom, which we don't have in the area of cannabis.
Do you operate a retail business and are looking for a solution for point-of-sale cryptocurrency acceptance? It's never been easier thanks to AnyPay.Global. There's no paperwork or approval process to open an account. If you already have a tablet at your cash register, you're almost done. Just sign up at AnyPay.Global. Drop your personal crypto wallet addresses in our setup page, and then load our app. That's it. You're accepting cryptocurrency like Bitcoin and Dash at your store. Get started now at AnyPay.Global. That's AnyPay.Global.
Zencash is an end-to-end encrypted system with zero-knowledge technology over which communications, data, or value can be securely transmitted and stored. With over 13,000 secure nodes, Zencash has one of the most distributed secure node systems of any cryptocurrency, and Zencash now has supernodes. Supernodes will bring network, economic, and technical improvements across the network. And the official Zencash wallet is available on Linux, Mac, Windows, and Android devices. Learn more at Zencash.com. Zencash.com.
This is Jessica Armand, creator of the fluoride-free oral care brand, My Magic Mud. You're going to love our new products. Our cutting-edge oral rinses deeply soothe your mouth and fight cavities naturally. Our breath spray, My Magic Mist, will invigorate your senses with essential oils of peppermint and eucalyptus. Our clinically proven toothpaste and tooth powders whiten your teeth and detoxify your mouth. Buy discounted bundles direct at mymagicmud.com and take 10% off with coupon code GCN10. mymagicmud.com.
Hi, I'm Patrick Kolbeck, and I'm running for governor. In the wake of the adoption of Common Core in 2010, Michigan's education system has been in a steady decline. In order to regain our former reputation for education excellence, we need to dump Common Core and get the feds and state government out of the classroom. We need to refocus education upon parents, teachers, and students. Under my service as governor, our schools will get the resources they need without any micromanagement of the classroom. Principled solutions prioritize your best interests, not lobbyists. Paid for by Patrick Kolbeck for governor.
Hi, I'm Derek J. To me, an activist's calling is to actively work to advance a cause. The cause for which I work is personal freedom. I believe my life is best when I engage in voluntary interactions and self-government. I reject the idea that anyone else has a higher claim to my life or my body than I do. I see people who call themselves the government as a threat to my personal freedom. I realize you may feel differently, but my relationship with the people who call themselves the government is completely involuntary. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment, it gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that tenth of a calorie it takes to click on something. facebook.freetalklive.com.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You can dial in toll-free here. The number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. 855-450-3733. And even though cannabis is legal in Oregon, well, that just means that there's an absolute mess of regulations and bureaucracy that has made things very difficult, especially for the medical providers, to continue doing business, to get medical, sick people the medicine that they need.
Specifically, the suppliers of the products.
That is absolutely the case, and we're going to tell you more about it. There's a little bit more, including the cannabis tracking system, because now they're getting into the part of the story where the police are like, ooh, there's cannabis leaking out of the legal system and into the black market, and we got to put a stop to it, because... well, that's what we've always done. And all we can do is do what we've always done because we couldn't spend time on murders and rape or, any kind of actual property crime or whatever. No, we need to keep investigating people selling flowers.
Yeah.
That's basically what they're doing. We're going to tell you more about it coming up here. But let's go to Rob. He's on the line on our Discord on-air call-in line at discord.lrn.fm. Hello, Rob.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Oh, hey, what's on your mind tonight?
I'm thinking that what's going to happen is, people that smoke marijuana, they're just going to go home and they're going to get a couple, 2 or 3 joints in them, and then just going to stay at home and laugh or maybe watch the ball game or something like that. I don't think it's going to be that much of a big deal. But
no, it's definitely not a big deal.
Right.
Yeah.
But reason why I called in was, Vermont now is pretty much full on legal over here. And, in order to get, I have my own land over here and I have an abundant supply of water. I don't believe I'm ever going to run out. And, but if I want to be able to set up a legal grow, just for the license itself, it's $50,000.
What? Oh man, that's a lot.
And and it's another $4,000 or $5,000, $6,000 for permits and stuff like that. And that's just totally ridiculous.
Plus, whatever plants are grown must be in a secure enclosure screened from public view.
We can't have any children seeing a plant.
And then there's also not a system set up there in Vermont to where anybody can actually sell it on the retail market.
Right. So it's not exactly legal. It's at least not fully legal.
The criminal penalties for possession of certain amounts have been eliminated.
Of smaller amounts, I imagine, if you have
you're allowed a certain amount of plants.
Yeah.
Without going through this
and you can gift
special...
it. You can gift your marijuana, correct?
Certain amounts, small amounts.
And I imagine they would not be happy if I gifted you some marijuana after you gifted me, $100, or no, I could sell you a pencil for $100 and then give you a free bag of cannabis. I suspect they would not, they wouldn't like that very much.
Could I buy a $100 baggie from you?
Filled with marijuana.
It's a very special Ziploc bag.
Right.
It's really totally ridiculous because, I mean, people need this plant for medication and stuff like this. There's so many benefits from this plant, and all the powers that be, all they want to do is just control this, and they don't want anyone to have any goodness to come from this.
Well, right, and thank you, Rob, for the call tonight. I appreciate hearing from you. It's Rob there in Vermont on our Discord on-air call-in line room, which you can join. You heard how good he sounded there. It was only a little bit of talkback coming from. I think he had a speakerphone on, which was probably the problem.
Yeah, use a headset.
Yeah, use a that's the ideal way is to call on Discord, is to just use your cell phone and get a headset. But anyway, the bureaucrats would have you believe that you need us here to look at liquor. People would just be getting drunk if it weren't for the Liquor Commission and all of its rules and regulations. I mean, if it weren't for them, there would be drunk people.
It's the parental authority we need.
That's what they would like to have you believe, but does anybody actually buy that the Liquor Commission does anything valuable?
No. And, there are certain states that have absolutely ridiculous liquor laws, like
New Hampshire.
Well, unfortunately, New Hampshire is one of those states to where if I go to the grocery store at midnight tonight, I cannot buy a bottle of wine or a case of beer because can't sell it after 11:45.
You could go to a bar and
I could go to the bar and drink, but I can't buy alcohol to take home with me because I might drive drunk.
No.
Something.
The reason is that we don't want to encourage people, we being the Liquor Commission, we, the Liquor Commission, don't want to encourage people to drink around the clock. So we just have to cut it off at some point. You wouldn't want people going in at 2 a.m. to buy alcohol, would you?
It'd be like Miami Beach.
Yeah, and what's it like there?
Crazy.
You can buy beer at 9 o'clock in the morning, but not at midnight. After you get off work from your second shift.
Right. It discriminates against the second and third shift workers.
Right. And the way I found out about this stupid law is I worked a really late second shift.
Okay.
And wanted to buy a bottle of wine for a friend's birthday.
Buddy.
I had a birthday card, a bag, and the little tissue paper to go in the bag and a bottle of wine. And the guy said, I can't sell you the wine.
Jesus.
It's obviously for a birthday present.
Matter.
Why can't you sell this?
Yep.
It's after 11:45. What the hell's that got to do with anything? Can't sell it till 6.
Sorry, you could be an undercover cop and, we can't sell it to you.
Yeah, so I just left. I don't think I bought anything.
Yeah, I imagine you would not need the bag at that point because you didn't have anything to put into it. The other, claim is that, we've got to stop selling alcohol in the bars at 1 a.m. because otherwise people would drink all night. See, don't we need the government to stop people from drinking irresponsibly?
No, I think, your average person is going to know when they need to stop drinking.
And we can't
This
stop
isn't for
anything.
the average people.
Yeah,
Sorry, go ahead.
we can't stop people from doing like marijuana or other drugs. I mean, how can we stop them from drinking?
Oh,
Well,
right.
right.
Nobody gets drunk on Sundays in states that have no alcohol sales on Sunday laws.
No one ever gets drunk on Sunday.
No, they just buy extra on Saturdays, you
Darryl.
dum-dum.
So they go to a different county.
The laws are only stopping the people who don't know how to plan, right? So there are people who will be stopped from drinking on Sunday because they're so out of it that they didn't think to actually buy on Saturday.
So I do remember one time.
A very important re-up.
Yeah.
I do remember one time going, this was when I still lived in Alabama, going to somebody's house, and they happened to have lived in a dry county, and they were having some outing, and they totally forgot that, the stores right here don't sell. So whoever it was had to drive 20 minutes to go to the next county to buy some alcohol to bring to the party.
Is it illegal to actually possess alcohol in a dry county?
It's illegal to possess over a certain amount of alcohol in a dry county.
It depends. Like in Kentucky and over by Fort Knox, they'll arrest you for it. In Fort Knox, they'll arrest you for it. In Kentucky,
Fort Knox is that
Kentucky?
That's a town in Kentucky that has a fort that supposedly has gold in it.
I didn't know if that was the same Fort Knox. I'd heard of Fort Knox.
Yes, so
I just didn't know if that was
fort
real. Yeah.
is in the town.
I see.
Named after the fort.
Right. But it's not proven that the gold's actually there, right? Like, because nobody's audited it or something like that.
No, but they have a lot of tanks that they do. So
you've been there?
I used to live there. So
really?
Yeah.
I didn't know you spent time in Kentucky.
Yeah, it's nice out there. But this is in the 90s. I haven't been to Kentucky.
Kentucky has some really weird laws. So there are places where it is legal in Kentucky to make bourbon, but it is illegal to sell bourbon.
Yeah.
So the Jack Daniels plant is in a dry county, but because Jack Daniels predated the law making it a dry county,
grandfathered them in.
They're still allowed to manufacture. They just can't sell in their museum and all the other things.
Oh, and of course the Liquor Commission mandates that you cannot buy directly from a manufacturer. You have to buy from the distributor.
Oh, right, because of this weird 3-tier system thing that doesn't exist everywhere.
All it does is it institutionalizes corruption, right?
Yes.
It institutionalizes a guaranteed protected class of distributors.
Right, and if you want to be a direct shipper, then there's hoops and hurdles to jump through, so I can't just call up, College Brewing in Arizona and say, hey, send me a case of Big Blue Van. They've got to jump through certain hoops and hurdles to be able to send me Big Blue Van.
Well, I mean, you could be a child or something. We need to protect the children.
But if anybody does want to send some Big Blue Van, please do.
All right, hour number 3 is on the way. You can bring up what you want. Take control of the airwaves. It is Free Talk Live.
It's been said, any society is only 3 missed meals away from chaos. Those times may be near. Think about it. Our country faces multiple terrorist threats and aggressions from Russia and North Korea. Social unrest and violent marches yet again may lead to looting of stores and city shutdowns. And our crumbling infrastructure leaves our power grid vulnerable to long-term outages from a single cyber attack. When the chaos from any one of these threats arises, the government knows it can't provide during a widespread national emergency. That's why you need your own plan for self-reliance. That's where My Patriot Supply comes in. Get a 4-week survival food supply for only $99. That includes breakfast, lunches, and dinners. Order online at preparewithgcn.com. $99 for 4 weeks of survival food that tastes like homemade cooking and lasts up to 25 years from My Patriot Supply. Get your kits today at preparewithgcn.com. Free shipping is included. Preparewithgcn.com.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Friday, August 3rd, 2018. Silver is trading at $15.47 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,215 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $24, and the average price of Bitcoin is $7,365. Antiwar.com reports on Wednesday the 2019 National Defense Authorization Act, NDAA, included a lot of details above and beyond just spending $716 billion on the military. Two provisions were in the final bill focused on dealing with civilian casualties in America's assorted wars. The language requires the Pentagon to create a high-ranking civilian post at or above the level of an Assistant Secretary of Defense who would be in charge of establishing uniform processes on recording strikes, investigating reported casualties, reducing risk to civilians, and establishing a uniform standard for both acknowledging responsibility and offering payments to the families of victims. The other provision is in addition to the 2018 NDAA's demand for civilian casualty reporting. This new version clarifies the previous year's language, noting that the Pentagon never complied with the initial requirement, giving a report that was both late and incomplete. While the 2019 provisions go much deeper in trying to provide very clear requirements, the problem with last year's version raises the very likely possibility that the Pentagon is just going to ignore the language again. The creation of the high-ranking civilian post seems aimed at that, with an eye towards having someone to complain to when the reports don't arrive. The Pentagon's increasingly secretive attitude in recent months and their well-established policy of drastically under-reporting civilian deaths suggests Congress is going to have to go to great efforts to get such reports submitted. Zencash is the world's first private, distributed, and reliable platform for communications, transactions, and publishing. Zencash has the ability to use both transparent and shielded transactions, with shielded transactions using zero-knowledge proofs. Zencash features global governance with inclusive decision-making, reliable funding for continuous improvements, and documentation and wallets in many languages that are available for Linux, Mac, Windows, and Android devices. Learn more at zencash.com. UPI reports a group of 4 cities filed a lawsuit against President Donald Trump and his administration for violating the Constitution by attempting to sabotage the Affordable Care Act. The cities of Baltimore, Maryland, Chicago, Illinois, Columbus, and Cincinnati, Ohio, along with 2 individuals, filed the lawsuit in the U.S. District Court for the District of Maryland, alleging Trump violated Article 2 of the Constitution, which requires the president to take care that all laws be faithfully executed while they remain in place. Although attempts to repeal the Affordable Care Act have failed, Columbus City Attorney Zach Klein said that Trump has sought to sabotage the health care law through his words and actions since he took office. The complaint cites actions taken, including making it easier for individuals and trade groups to purchase coverage outside the law's insurance markets, threatening to eliminate cost-sharing reduction payments, cutting funding for those who help individuals enroll in the program, and using federal funds Congress dedicated to implementing the law towards making videos criticizing it. When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Reuters reports Native American tribes that tried to block the Dakota Access Pipeline during a months-long standoff with authorities in North Dakota more than a year ago are carrying on their fight in federal court in what they contend is a symbol of their ongoing struggle for tribal sovereignty. Danielle Tashina Finn, a spokeswoman for the Standing Rock Sioux, said, "People think Standing Rock has come and gone," referring to the site of the protest. "But we will continue this fight until we are heard and the world knows what happened to us." The pipeline, owned by Energy Transfer Partners LP, has been operational since June 2017 after President Donald Trump granted its permit over the objection of tribes and environmentalists fearful that it would pollute a waterway sacred to the Standing Rock and Cheyenne River Sioux. The pipeline approval, part of Trump's desire to increase domestic energy production, distressed Native people in the United States and Canada who were concerned that it discounted indigenous rights. The Standing Rock and Cheyenne Sioux sued the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers soon after Trump ordered it to approve the pipeline, arguing that the tribes had not been properly consulted. U.S. District Judge James Boasberg in Washington, D.C. is weighing whether the Corps adequately considered effects on the tribe before approving the pipeline. He is expected to issue his decision by August 10th. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
The victims of a devastating tornado expressed gratitude that The Onion's 3-part series on the disaster was reported with fairness, accuracy, and an unusual degree of sensitivity. Survivors said they were at least thankful for one thing, that The Onion put much more care and insight into their reporting of the tragedy than any competing newspaper, by far. In economic news, a Pulitzer Prize would very much help certain newspapers increase their circulation, resulting in greater ad sales and more revenue to pay their tireless, hardworking reporters, all of whom have families at home to care for. In other headlines, a group known as Americans for Fairness in Awarding Journalism Prizes is asking all Americans to help The Onion receive a Pulitzer Prize. An anonymous man says he will murder 50 innocent people if The Onion is not awarded a Pulitzer. And look at it, it's beautiful. Look, just give us a Pulitzer already, okay? This is humiliating. For more prize-worthy stories and videos, go to theonion.com/review.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live, and you can take control of the airwaves toll-free. Bring up whatever's on your mind. Our number, 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And we've got Skype as well. Our Skype username is lrn.fm. Plus, there's our Discord on-air call-in line room at discord.lrn.fm. So feel free to jump in over there, right there at the top of our long list of channels in which you can interact with other Free Talk Live listeners, whether you want to talk to them about Free Talk Live, or there's the cryptocurrency channel, there's the gaming channel, there's actually a couple channels just for Free Talk Live amplifiers and supporters of the show. So it's a great way to go and get interactive with other listeners anytime. It's there 24/7. The Discord is at discord.lrn.fm. Joining you in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
Thomas.
And Darryl.
Thomas Parisi joining us from The Jail Paper, which you've got a YouTube channel. Folks can go and look for The Jail Paper.
Yeah, if they just jump on YouTube and look up The Jail Paper or go to thejailpaperkeen.com, it pops them right over there.
What kind of content are they going to see if they go and watch?
Mainly criminal procedures, and also the Jail Paper Afterburn is a compilation of body cam and dash cam videos. So
not just Keen, you're also looking at sort of a nationwide
yes.
body cam stuff.
Yeah, these are body cam
because there are
videos.
no body cams in Keen.
No, unfortunately not. I wish. But these are ones from around the country, and usually there's content every week. So.
What was the recent body cam issue that we were talking about on the air? There was some crazy outrage. There's always something that these body cams...
was it muting? Because a lot of them mute their body cam.
No. The cops actually...
Was it one of the things in Baltimore to where some of the body cams you push a button and then it starts the recording, and other body cams just constantly record?
Yeah.
And they forgot that there's sort of the callback to where it sort of stores some video for about like 10 seconds prior to when you hit the button, and they were inadvertently caught planting drugs and weapons on people.
Surprise!
And the chief wound up saying, we need to retrain the officers, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you need to train them how to not get caught planting stuff on people.
Yep.
So we spent most of the show so far, and we're done. I'm going to finish. Say we're done with this story because we've gotten through almost all of it. At The Guardian, about the cannabis, the medical patients there are having difficulty getting their medical cannabis in certain areas in Oregon that have opted out of recreational. And because of, and when I say opted out, their town governments have said, we don't want this here. And so the sick people in those towns are having a tougher time getting their cannabis. And the people who are trying to manufacture medical-related products have had extra restrictions put on them by the state government. They're not able to get the recreational license to distribute recreationally because the Oregon Liquor Control Commission has put a freeze on new recreational licenses. So there's all kinds of problems created by the bureaucracy. And then you add into all the regulatory. So you've got the regulatory bureaucrats over here doing their thing, getting in the way of business getting done, getting in the way of sick people getting their medicine. And then on top of that, you've got the police, who, of course, continue to believe that cannabis is a dangerous drug and continue to act as though it needs to be stopped. As long as it's not, in the legal system. It's in the legal system. We just want to make sure it's legal. We want to come in. We want to inspect. You've got to make sure you've got your tags, your cannabis tracking system. They've got the thing called the OLCC cannabis tracking system. So the Liquor Commission has some arbitrary set of rules that they're forcing everybody who's growing pot to follow. So you have to tag your plants. I was looking at the tracking system here. You have to get an RFID tag for each and every plant that you have.
Yep.
And I presume, I couldn't find all the rules, There's like a whole course that you have to take if you're a grower or a manufacturer. You have to go through a training course on how to use the bureaucracy's tracking system. Mm-hmm. And the idea is that, well, they want to make sure that the cannabis doesn't leak out of the system into the black market because, well, it'd be bad somehow, because I guess then the government wouldn't make tax money on it, right? That's why they don't want...
They'll lose control.
Right. They would lose control, and that's what this is all about. It's all about their control. So I'm imagining they're probably mandating that they're weighing the plants at some point.
Probably. And I remember reading something, and I forget if it was Oregon or one of the other states there on the West Coast, where the companies are also required by state law to have a certain number of surveillance cameras inside the facility to make sure that none of the workers are
clipping the buds.
Clipping or snipping.
Right. Now, that would be something that the marketplace might want anyway, just to make sure their workers aren't pocketing the profits from, clipping extra buds off. But when you're dealing with cannabis plants, you don't really know exactly how much it's going to produce. I mean, there's a certain range in which you can expect that a certain size cannabis plant flowered out, to the max is going to produce an upward range of X and a lower range of Y, but you ultimately don't know exactly how big the buds are going to be or how many of them they're going to be on the plant.
Right. It's the same thing with anything that grows. Like, tomatoes. You don't know exactly how many tomatoes any given plant is going to have. You might wind up being able to figure out an average, but there are a lot of factors that go into play.
Yeah, and so that's where some of these questions come in, is like, well, even if you have them weighing the plant at the point at which they're harvesting it, right? So like they've got the tags on the plants before that, there's the harvesting point, and then there's the drying process, because you don't just, for anybody that doesn't know anything about cannabis, you don't just clip the buds off the plant and put them in a pipe and smoke it. It's too wet. There's too much water in the plant at that point. So they have to do what they call a curing process, where...
Same thing happens with tobacco.
Yeah. I don't know if it's the exact same process, but yes, there's some sort of process.
Well, I don't know if it's the same process, but tobacco, you don't just cut off of the plant and then smoke. There's a process to cure it and something before it gets smokable.
Part of the process, at least in the illegal markets, because I've known a few growers in my time, is they cut the plant and then they hang it upside down.
Like tobacco. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'll take your word for it. I've never actually done the tobacco process. I've never done the cannabis process, but I know people who have. And so they hang it upside down, and the idea is that it takes whatever THC is still in the stems and uses gravity to move it into, I don't know if it's true, but that's what I was told.
It's a good theory.
Move it into whatever remains there into the buds as they're drying out. And then once the buds are dry, you can then, clip them off the plant, and then they're ready to ship. Then they're ready to be smoked. But there's some time that it takes. So between the time when you harvest the plant and the time when you actually have dried the plant sufficiently, the weight of the plant's going to go down.
Right, because all of the moisture is leaving the plant.
Right. So all of these different
It's like
points,
if you go to McDonald's, and there have actually been people that have filed lawsuits on this because they're stupid. They've gone to McDonald's, ordered a quarter pounder, and then put it on the scale. This doesn't weigh a quarter. No, that's the weight before cooking, and then there are juices that leave, and so a quarter pound burger doesn't weigh 4 ounces once it's finally cooked.
Yeah, not on the bun, right? And so all of these points at which they're trying desperately to control this plant, there's so many different points at which somebody can slip a bud out here, slip a bud out there, and then before you know it, you got a whole pound of pot that you've managed to slip out of a few different plants, right?
Right.
And then that pot goes onto the black market, where you can charge whatever black market rates are, and you don't have all the stupid overhead, or at least not as much of the regulatory overhead. You're not charging taxes on that, so you can keep all of that money. So whether it be the person who's tending the plants clipping off a few buds before they weigh it, or after the fact, after they've weighed it, then they're going through the drying process. You clip a few out there, and you don't know what's been lost in that process because you don't know.
It's skimming. It's like It's kind of like embezzling, but it's a natural thing.
But it's your own product, so you're not embezzling anything.
Yeah,
you're just trying to protect your plant from the government.
Well, if it's some guy that you're paying $15 an hour to work for you and he's doing it, it's not his product.
If he's not authorized, you're right. If he's not authorized. But if it's a large-scale operation and you are part of it as the owner or whatever,
you're conspiring.
You know you're moving product into the black market. Then, if you're dealing with growing 1,000 plants or whatever, and I don't know what the limits are in Oregon, but they've got some massive grow operations to fund what they said was like 1 million pounds of pot a year ago. Well, I mean, if you've got 1,000 or more plants, I mean, you skim a little bit off of each plant, you've got pounds and pounds of marijuana you can sell on the black market, no problem. The cops can't stop this, but they're going to try. Anyway, more coming up. You've got some stories about police corruption coming up here, Darryl. It's Free Talk Live.
From the sixth letter of Captain Mark. A pirate's life is characterized by voluntary interactions. Unfortunately, the Crown presses everyone into involuntary servitude. Landlubbers believe slavery was abolished years ago, but the Crown still claims to own us when it crimps us into service against our will. Given sufficient ambition, it would gladly draft thousands of hapless victims to kill or be killed. It's simply slavery by another name. Landlubbers are routinely commanded to serve the so-called justice system in jury duty. But before you swell with civic pride, consider that how you feel is irrelevant to the Crown. You will appear as ordered or face punitive measures. The Crown insists that you participate in your own oppression. A jury summons provides pirates with a unique opportunity to obstruct injustices. A juror can vote not guilty, even if it's proven the law was violated. A juror can acquit for any reason at all, and not even a judge can reverse that verdict. Receiving a jury summons is basically winning the sedition lottery. But if you reveal that you know this during jury selection, you'll probably be dismissed. If the Crown foolishly crimps a pirate into jury duty, it behooves the pirate to conceal their intention to nullify unjust laws. If a master takes 100% of your labor, it's called slavery. But if they only take 50%, they call it taxation, a difference of degree, not of kind. Whether the Crown claims a fortune or a cent is irrelevant. Most of all, a slave owner desires contented slaves, meaning thoughtless ones that accept their bondage. These house slaves see no contradiction in being drafted in a war to end slavery or summoned to a jury to prosecute tax evasion. An ideal slave knows no higher call than the master's will. The Crown's highest ambition is that its slaves revere the authority that subjugates them. But the Crown does not own me. I will not surrender my time and treasure to the Crown's ambitions. Join the conversation at pirateswithoutborders.com.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media, and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free, at apps.lrn.fm.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live. Dial in, toll free, take control of the airwaves. Bring up what you want. Our number is 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. Skype username, if you want to try us there, is LRN.FM, or you can jump in our Discord on-air call-in line room over at discord.lrn.fm. And you can get on the air. You can talk about whatever you want. We're going to get into some police corruption, how the cops are going after people for free speech. Darryl's got that story. It's Ian Thomas and Darryl in the studio tonight, but I do want to let you know about the Tom Woods podcast. Maybe you know Tom Woods, or maybe you're new to him. A lot of folks were introduced during the Ron Paul campaigns of 2008 and 2012. Tom is a New York Times best-selling author. He's written over a dozen books, including The Politically Incorrect Guide to American History. And since September of 2013, Tom Woods has put out his own show, The Tom Woods Show, every single weekday, which means he's racked up approximately 1,200 episodes so far. Great guests like Ron Paul, Judge Andrew Napolitano, David Stockman, and hundreds more. Topics including war, the Federal Reserve, net neutrality, the FDA, Austrian economics, and other subjects of interest to libertarians. You can find The Tom Woods Show online at tomwoods.com or search Tom Woods Show in your favorite podcatcher. All right, Darryl, let's get into your story. Where's it from?
It comes from the Freedom of the Press Foundation, which is an organization that, well, I like a lot of what they do here. And headline is, police are threatening free expression by abusing the law to punish disrespect for law enforcement. In May 2016, a pair of police officers in the New York City Police Department ticketed Shyam Patel for his car's tinted windows. After parking, Patel raised his middle finger in response. The NYPD, the officers, then approached Patel and asked for his identification. When he asked what crime he was suspected of committing, he alleges that one of the officers says, "You can't gesture as such." When Patel insisted that he had freedom of speech
that prohibits the gesturing.
There isn't one.
That would be my next question.
He insisted that freedom of speech granted him the right. Patel alleges the officers said that you can't curse a police officer, grabbed his phone, and then again demanded identification. He was then arrested and charged with disorderly conduct and resisting arrest. While the charges were later dropped,
of course,
he is suing the officers for violation of First Amendment rights for free expression.
Clear violation.
Yep.
And these cases happen all the time. In fact, there was one that happened here in the Keene area that I followed. A local guy who is a New Hampshire native was mad at the police during an encounter at a local dam, and they didn't like his attitude, basically, and so they arrested him, and I think it was disorderly conduct was the charge in that particular case as well.
That's basically the catch-all for you did something and we can't think of an actual charge.
Yep. And they don't really have any distinction of what the disorderly is when it comes to that type of what they call man-pig, like them being provoked. It's just they go, oh, look, well, he's acting silly and disorderly conduct.
And disorderly is written in a very nebulous manner. It can be
it's
applied
a breach of the peace
in a lot of ways. But ultimately, he was victorious in that particular case. He won. I don't think it was on appeal. I think that he just won straight up in court on that one, on like the district court level, because this is a long settled issue, but yet it continues to happen.
Yes,
because
it does.
It doesn't matter that if the police send out a memo saying, officers, you are not to arrest people who, flip you off or say F you or say something that you're offended by because we keep losing these cases. You need to stop arresting them. First of all, that memo doesn't go out. But even if the memo did go out and a cop ignored it and went ahead and arrested somebody anyway, there would be near to no penalty for that officer besides a verbal tongue lashing from his superiors.
If that.
And so that's why this stuff just keeps happening. That's why people keep getting arrested for recording the police, too.
Article continues, no law prohibits swearing at or flipping off police officers.
Of course not.
And it seems clear that law enforcement were in the wrong, but Patel's case is only the latest incident of police officers abusing the law and their positions of power to punish people critical or disrespectful of law enforcement.
Right, because remember, the punishment is in the arrest.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So even if later the thing gets overturned, even if later, and again, it's very rare you're going to get any kind of monetary settlement out of this. You'll just win, and I'm putting air quotes around the win because, well, you didn't lose by having to go to jail. You only won because of the fact that you won in court. You still lost all the time. You lost whatever the arrest time was, and the embarrassment of being arrested. Because a lot of people, if their name shows up in the arrest records in the newspaper, they'll get fired. It doesn't even matter that they were in the right. It doesn't matter that the arrest was fallacious. They're going to lose their job because they got arrested.
And then you're out a lot of money for a lawyer. You're out money for trying to wind up getting an annulment because there was no subsequent conviction, but it's still on the record.
And plus, it's so hard to litigate it. Like, basically, it's almost not worth it if you want to try to litigate your, compensation for your rights. In Florida, they actually have in a lot of different sheriff's departments, they have $10,000 or $20,000 of a fund just to pay off, in the cases they have. But they have so many more
to settle. You mean? In certain cases,
their lawsuits down there is like 100 or 200 lawsuits against a given, sheriff's department, whereas here it's probably like 5 or 10.
Yeah, that's true. So everything's much smaller scale.
Yeah, and they'll stick you in court here forever and a day, and nothing will ever happen. So
go on with the story.
The article, and they give several other cases here. In 2009, a black man returning to his home in Cambridge, Massachusetts from travel abroad found his door tightly shut. He, along with his taxi driver, forced the door open. Soon after, police arrived to his house to respond to a reported burglary. It's unclear what words exactly were exchanged, but the man was arrested for, quote, loud and tumultuous behavior.
In his own home.
That he allegedly broke into. A report by the officer in question indicated that the man merely used harsh language and called the officer racist. If the circumstances were different, this incident may not have made headlines, but it did. Countless people of color are accused of criminal activity for walking upon their own sidewalks or entering their own homes, but the man was Henry Louis Gates Jr., a professor at Harvard University.
I remember this story.
And friend of, at the time, newly elected President Barack Obama. The details of his arrest quickly made waves across the country.
Right.
Somebody got fired.
Probably.
Maybe.
Coverage of the incident focused on concerns of racial profiling, but it was about free speech as well. Gates was arrested not for breaking and entering, but for disorderly conduct after he used harsh language at an officer.
He had an
just like
incident
Patel
with the officer, and the officer wanted to get him. The officer knew, oh crap, this guy's on his own property. He's proven he's a property owner, so I can't get him for that. But he's arguing with me, and I'm gonna figure something out. And they came up with, what was it? Tumultuous conduct?
Loud and tumultuous behavior.
Is that a state law?
Civil Liberties attorney Harvey Silvergate has called disorderly conduct law enforcement's charge of choice for when a citizen gives lip to a cop.
We got more.
And there's more.
All right, more on the way here. By the way, Harvey Silvergate, I think is with the ACLU of Massachusetts, I believe. Toll-free number here, 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. Can you say F the police? Yeah, you should be able to.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Sling bow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of sling bow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
This is Jessica Armand, founder of My Magic Mud. Our team helped organize a successful effort to remove fluoride from our city's water supply. This is our passion. My Magic Mud Oral Care purifies and brightens your smile naturally. GCN listeners, please support my family business by purchasing our products from your local health food store. We're also available at CVS Pharmacy, or visit us at mymagicmud.com and take 10% off now with coupon code GCN10.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com. Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
Hey, it's Free Talk Live. You can dial in toll-free, take control of the airwaves, bring up what you want. Our number here, 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Forkfest 2019. It's coming up next year. It's going to likely be on the dates June 13th through the 18th of 2019. At the beautiful Rogers Campground in the White Mountains of New Hampshire. It's a great location, great time. This year's Forkfest was excellent. There were probably like 3 times as many people that came out this year compared to last year. I think we were well over 100 attendees on the Saturday, and then even more showed up because our friend and co-host Jay Noon got married that Sunday. He had like 150 people show up to his wedding, and so by that Monday there were probably 300 folks at the very end of Forkfest.
Plus some horses.
Yeah, that's right. And a unicorn horse, as a matter of fact. Forkfest.party is where you can go. I don't know if anybody else took any pictures, though, because I posted them on the Forkfest forum, and I said, hey, if anybody else has any pictures, post them here. Nobody else did. So I might have gotten the only pictures of Forkfest 2019. So maybe you'll come
2018.
2018, thank you.
Unless you're a time traveler.
Maybe you'll show up next year and make it even better, because it's all up to you, the individuals who are attending Forkfest. What happens? It's decentralized. There's no central committee. There's no board of directors. There's no organizers of Forkfest. It's just a set number of days, a set location, and then whatever it is the attendees want to create is what happens there. So if you want to throw a party, throw a party. If you want to have a musical performance, build a stage or bring a guitar or bring an amplifier or whatever and do your thing. Are you getting ideas, Darryl? Your eyes
I am getting some ideas.
Okay, all right, cool. So I like that. And then there's also the ForkFest forum where people can discuss, maybe plan things in advance. There's the Telegram chat room. All of these things are unofficial. You can link to them all over at forkfest.party. Again, June 13th through June 18th in 2019. Forkfest.party as we continue here. Darryl, you're sharing a story with us. And, I'm sorry, what was the source on it again?
Freedom of the Press Foundation.
And they're reporting on this ongoing problem that even though there have been case after case after case where as long as you challenge an arrest, if a cop arrests you for saying F you or flipping them off or doing some other kind of motion that's offensive, saying something mean that they don't like, if a cop arrests you for that and charges you with disorderly conduct or one of these other catch-alls that they have,
resisting arrest,
it's almost a guarantee you will win the case. But the problem is they know they've got you against a wall because you've got to hire the attorney.
Right.
You've got to find an attorney who's willing to take a case against the police, and many attorneys aren't willing to.
No, they're not.
And that's where the ACLU comes in.
The article here continues these types of cases, sadly, are still a regular occurrence, despite the 1974 court case, Lewis v. New Orleans, where the U.S. Supreme Court struck down a city ordinance that outlawed obscene or opprobrious language toward or with reference to a police officer. That word opprobrious I had never heard before, but it translates, or rather by translates, I mean the definition is offensive. Expressing scorn or criticism.
Okay.
So saying, you're a meanie.
Hey, cop, leave that girl alone. She didn't do anything wrong.
Yes.
They do this all the time in Keene where, they're harassing college students who are just peacefully drinking a beer while they're walking down the street. Cops are going to, they harass them all the time. I've seen them make college girls cry, as they're arresting them and harassing them. And I've called them out for it. Like, hey, don't you have a real crime to go investigate? Like where somebody destroyed a piece of property or got raped or murdered or, somebody burned a house down or something like that.
That's too hard to do.
That takes real work.
Yeah. The court in 1974.
You don't have to be a real detective to find a kid on the street with a beer in their hand.
No, and it seems that every time that you try to challenge a policeman's authority, like if you were to say, hey, my attorney won't be pleased, well, all of a sudden 3 or 4 more police officers will pop up, and then you're definitely going to jail.
Yeah.
So it seems like if you challenge it, the worse off you're going to be.
Well, you mean in the face of the police?
In the face of them. Before there's any charge or arrest ever take place,
right?
That's the intimidation, And then after you're actually charged, it's are you willing to take your chances of challenging it?
Right. So. And many people are afraid. They're not willing to take the chance.
Right. And, yeah, let's talk about, this sort of plea deal thing to where they always ask the question, did anybody threaten you or make you offers? And Ian, didn't you say that there was somebody in Keene several years ago that said, yeah, the police officer said that if I didn't take this, then this, really bad sentence. Yeah. No. We mean anybody else.
But us, yeah. Did anybody
other than the cop make you a promise?
I saw somebody yesterday do that when they were doing the allocation.
Right of allocution?
Yeah, or, like
on
they
a
were
contempt
saying,
charge?
Yeah, well, no. Wait, I'm thinking the wrong one. They were doing the VOP.
Okay,
so
violation of probation.
Yeah, so when they're asking you, like, did anyone coerce you? He's like, yes. And it took him a second, and the judge had to ask him a second time.
Right.
Which is basically, yes, you're being told you're either going to prison or you're making the deal. And it's either one of the
total coercion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From top to bottom.
So continuing on here, at the time, again, 1974, in the case of Lewis v. Lewis v. New Orleans, the U.S. Supreme Court noted, quote, a properly trained police officer may reasonably be expected to exercise a higher degree of restraint than a private citizen. Despite the Supreme Court's clear ruling on the issue, police in Pennsylvania are using the state's version of hate crime laws to prosecute multiple people who say offensive things to them when they're being arrested. The laws are intended to protect the vulnerable, but are instead being wielded as a tool by powerful government entities. Robbie Sanderson, a 52-year-old black man, was arrested for retail theft near the city of Pittsburgh in September 2016. During his arrest, he called the police Nazis and skinheads and said, quote, "All you cops shoot people for no reason." He was charged with felony ethnic intimidation.
Wow.
Ethnic intimidation? This is
The
a hate
state's
crime? This is
hate
so-called
crime
hate crime?
law. He was being arrested, called the cop a Nazi, a skinhead, and said you shoot people for no reason while he was being arrested and was charged with intimidation.
What's incredible.
Wow.
Incredible.
Later that year, Sonata Omarosa became agitated at a police station and was arrested for disorderly conduct and was then knocked to the ground. According to the ACLU, she yelled while handcuffed in a jail cell, "Death to all you white bitches. I'm going to kill you white bitches. I hope ISIS kills you." Her 6 charges included a felony assault charge for hitting an officer in the arm and felony ethnic intimidation.
Wow.
Well, see, that's the modern penal code because Pennsylvania's on the modern penal code, and like they have like 5th-degree crimes. It's a very crazy.
I'm not familiar with this.
It's called the modern penal code. If you look it up, it's basically what the federal government does so far as crimes, except they've done it for the state level.
Huh.
And so like their crimes, like this crime here is like it's lunacy.
This is crazy.
Yeah.
Sanderson and Omaroso's cases are just 2 of the many in Pennsylvania where law enforcement agents slapped disrespectful arrestees with hate crime charges. The people yelled speech that officers found offensive, but they were handcuffed and posed no physical threat to anyone. Pennsylvania's ethnic intimidation charge works similarly to hate crimes laws in other states, which generally enhance the penalties for perpetrators when victims were targeted for discriminatory reasons. Although hate crime statutes were
And yet
enacted,
another example of how a law's intent isn't necessarily how it's enforced. Now,
correct.
As libertarians, we don't believe in hate crime laws because if you murder somebody, it shouldn't matter if you said, "I hate you, buddy," before, you pull the trigger or whatever. "I don't like you, blanks," or whatever. It's a murder. It should be the same punishment no matter what the opinion of the murderer was. But yet here's an example of how those laws are now being completely turned against the very people they were supposed to be protecting, the disadvantaged, the minorities. And now you've got cops saying, "Well, our feelings were hurt. Hit them with a felony."
Blue lives matter.
Yep, we're out of time here. We're going to do an Edgington post coming up here in the final segment with Titus Gabel. We'll see you tomorrow online, freetalklive.com.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful full-featured wallet that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH, with anyone, anywhere in the world. It supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available on Windows, Linux, Mac, Android, and iOS devices. Use the Bitcoin.com wallet to buy, send, store, and receive both Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH. Learn more at wallet.bitcoin.com. That's wallet.bitcoin.com.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
Hi, I'm Dr. Bill Deagle, MD, AAEM, ACAM, A4M, of NutriMedical.com, and a consultant providing email advice free on advanced protocols for your optimized wellness and advanced technologies to heal and regenerate you. You can contact us at NutriMedical.com, that's NutriMedical.com, or 888-212-8871. You get free email starter protocols of our top medical-grade nutraceuticals, initial testing, and recommendations for your own primary doctor to do, as well as recommendations to give you an idea of a consultation and a full protocol to try to help you regenerate your tissues, heal naturally without the use of toxic polypharmacy. I can send test kits to you as well anywhere in the world and provide you recommendations to referral of specialty clinics worldwide. So contact me, Dr. Bill Deagle, at NutriMedical.com. That's NutriMedical.com or 888-212-8871.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with AgristHosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to AgristHosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's AgristHosting.com.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
My name is Jacob Hornberger. I'm president of the Future of Freedom Foundation, which Congressman Ron Paul awarded for having an outstanding freedom website. Write us at fff@fff.org, and we'll send you a free 3-month subscription to our monthly journal of libertarian essays and our booklet, Economic Liberty in the Constitution, which George Mason University economics professor Walter Williams praised in a recent column. That's fff@fff.org.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
All right, this is Mark Edge doing another Edgington post right here from the Startup Societies Foundation Summit in Washington, D.C. I have with me Titus Gabel, is that right?
Titus Gabel.
Titus Gabel, okay. It's Titus in English.
I know. And the French call me Titus.
There you go. Titus, I just watched your speech. I find what you have to say very compelling. Can you sort of sum up what it is that you're about, who you are and what you're about real quick?
Yeah, my name is Titus Gabel again, and I'm a lawyer by education, but skipped being an active lawyer, become an entrepreneur 15 years ago. In Germany, founded a big mining and oil and gas company, could eventually retire in 2014, moved with my family to Monaco, and I was active in politics, classical liberal, libertarian, for 30 years, and I found out that it's not basically easy to change the system from within, but instead I want to create a new product from the outside. It's called a free private city, and the idea of a free private city is that there's a private governance provider who is protecting your life, liberty, and property, and you pay a fixed amount for that per year. It is laid down in a contract, so there is no doubts about your rights and obligation. It's all laid down. It's a real social contract. You sign this contract if you like it. If you don't like it, you stay where you are. But if you like it, you then move into this free private city. And other than these few rules and the rights of the others, you're basically free to do as you choose. That's the whole idea.
I think this may sound foreign to people, the whole idea of a city being a business, essentially starting a city and providing a few basic services. Infrastructure, maybe dispute resolution, maybe protection services, just, dependent. But frankly, this is done all the time. Cruise ships are their own free private cities. There's almost no law on the sea, and they provide you with everything. Resorts are another good example. Basically a hotel, but something bigger that has a little bit more than a hotel to provide so that people can get an idea. Resorts are everywhere. Now they have to pay property taxes that go then to the municipality that actually, this sort of overarching municipality, but frankly the municipality doesn't provide the resort anything, so there's no particular reason why they should be paying those things. They provide the security, they provide the infrastructure, and obviously resorts have have things like swimming pools and lawn chairs and all kinds of things that people might want when they're on vacation. But if it was just a resort designed for everyday life, then that's what you're talking about. It really makes sense.
Yeah, it's an excellent example with the cruise ship, because the cruise ship has an own legal system on the high seas, and it's in the contract. Most people don't recognize that, but they have a contract with the cruise ship basically owner, or with the company that is organizing the whole journey. And that is exactly the same. I'm basically putting the cruise ship idea on land. And the big difference is that you are then only subject to the rules of the cruise ship on land, on a free private city, and not subject, or only to a very limited degree, to the other tons of regulations and rules that are in the normal states existing. You can imagine it's like the relationship that Hong Kong has with China, a free private city. We would be located within an existing state on a contractual basis. We would have a contract with the state. The state is granting us internal autonomy, so we can set our own rules.
The state will provide military protection.
Yeah, it's at the moment they want to keep sovereignty, so it's probably not realistic to get full sovereignty at this state. We would just be still part of the sovereignty. They would provide, as you say, for defense, foreign policy, maybe some international agreements that they have signed, but for all the rest, we are on our own, and we can give to our residents this freedom. We can say, okay, look, here's a clear fixed amount what you have to pay for this infrastructure, security, a dispute resolution, and we cannot change that contract. As the example was with the cruise ship or the holiday resort, people know in advance what they have to pay. It's completely different to our states, where they're changing the rules every year. You get a new tax every year. You get a new regulation that you cannot do this and that. And you didn't agree to that.
Right, that's the social contract, right? So they tell you there's this social contract, they tell you that you agreed to it, and then they also tell you that they can change the terms anytime they want. I'm not exactly sure what I get to do, but I hear they get to do a lot of things. You were talking about the social contract during your speech.
Yeah, and that is exactly, I think, one of the reasons why even our Western societies are in such big trouble all over the world, is that this so-called social contract is a very one-sided contract, because one side
it's not a contract.
No, it's not it's a contract on the expense of third parties, and that is forbidden or is invalid according to the civil and common law of basically all societies.
Right. So it's calling something that is something that is not what it is. So like a contract is an agreement between two or more parties. It's not an agreement between two or more parties. Like the two or more parties can't implement that agreement on other people. That's not a contract.
Exactly.
That's war.
That is like you and I would make a contract that a person who would just walk by would have to pay $1,000, and of course that's nonsense. But in our social contract we are doing exactly that. And the interesting thing is now that the guy who is supposedly one of the creators of these terms, social contract, Jean-Jacques Rousseau, he has written by himself in his book that for the very first time, even the social contract that is based on a majority rule needs the 100% consent. So people have first to decide, I want to be governed by majority rule or any other rule before they are subject to that rule. And that is not happening. And the other thing is that there's only one side can change the contract. It's not us. Never. Mm-hmm. It's always the other side. And so far, I'm basically completely switching that. And not to something radical new, but to something we already know out of our daily lives. That is, we want to have a service, be it a cruise, or be it a holiday, or be it a tax accountant advising us. We know in advance what we have to pay for it and what we get for our money.
Right.
And that is exactly the concept of free private cities. You can read the contract in advance. I'm not going to change that later. I'm not going to say, by the way, Mark, we are building something new. You will pay double the fees, but you get a service that you didn't order. That is not going to happen. Right? And so what we are doing is transforming something that we already know from everyday's life to what I call the market of living together.
Do you imagine these cities being small or being large as an optimum size to a city? You spent some time imagining this, and I'm curious, is there a size that's too big? Because when I see big cities, I rarely see small government.
Yeah, that is true. I mean,
and it may be because that's the way it has to be. I don't know. When you attract 10 million people to one place, some percentage of them are going to be jerks, and maybe we need social services for that large quantity of jerks. I have no clue.
Yeah, let the market decide. I mean, this is something you cannot say in advance that there will be an optimal size. I think that people are different, and they have different taste in products and different tastes in living together, in the method how to live together. Mm-hmm. And some, maybe smaller cities, might be more for libertarian individualists.
Yeah, I kind of hear that. I hear some terminology that makes me think you understand the libertarian ideas.
But on the other side, you might have a lot of people who want to be taken care of, and they are willing to pay more for it. So let the market decide.
The people who want to be taken care of, Titus, never want to pay more.
Yeah,
they want you to pay more.
that does not work, right? Because it's not me, it's the other. So this is another big beauty of the free private city model. There's no forum for lobbyists, for political activists, and other types of cronyism, because everybody knows all the others have a contract, and no third party can influence that contract. So that is a big protection, and that is also the reason why even the parliament system, the parliament is eventually hijacked by interest groups, by the government, by the majority party or whatever. This is not going to happen here because everybody has bilateral agreement. Mm-hmm. So you have a much bigger protection. I nevertheless think that free private cities, there will not be one model. There will be different models. Let's assume some people prefer a more anarcho-capitalist setup, others are more the classical liberal types. Then you have people who want a little bit of welfare.
Yep.
And you can all add that, right? I can really
That's kind of how Monaco is, right? Monaco provides, you're living in Monaco right now.
Yeah.
Monaco provides for its citizens, which it's nearly impossible to become one. You're a resident, I would presume. For its citizens, it provides a social...
It's a food service.
Yeah, right. Full service welfare state for the citizenry, but everybody else goes there essentially because it provides a great level of service even for residents, and there's almost no social welfare for people who come for residency.
And still people want to
and basically they're just supporting these people who happen to, by accident of birth, be born in Monaco.
That is true. And look, but here's the thing. What I experienced in Monaco was also very instructive.
To hear the rest of this great interview, go to archives.freetalklive.com and get the MP3. Look for today's date there and download or just listen on the web. archives.freetalklive.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com. The 3 most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share 1 episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
The Torchwood Report is coming up next, live after the news on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Friday, August 3rd, 2018. Silver is trading at $15.47 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,215 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $24, and the average price of Bitcoin is $7,365. Antiwar.com reports on Wednesday the 2019 National Defense Authorization Act, NDAA, included a lot of details above and beyond just spending $716 billion on the military. Two provisions were in the final bill focused on dealing with civilian casualties in America's assorted wars. The language requires the Pentagon to create a high-ranking civilian post at or above the level of an Assistant Secretary of Defense who would be in charge of establishing uniform processes on recording strikes, investigating reported casualties, reducing risk to civilians, and establishing a uniform standard for both acknowledging responsibility and offering payments to the families of victims. The other provision is in addition to the 2018 NDAA's demand for civilian casualty reporting. This new version clarifies the previous year's language, noting that the Pentagon never complied with the initial requirement, giving a report that was both late and incomplete. While the 2019 provisions go much deeper in trying to provide very clear requirements, the problem with last year's version raises the very likely possibility that the Pentagon is just going to ignore the language again. The creation of the high-ranking civilian post seems aimed at that, with an eye towards having someone to complain to when the reports don't arrive. The Pentagon's increasingly secretive attitude in recent months and their well-established policy of drastically underreporting civilian deaths suggests Congress is going to have to go to great efforts to get such reports submitted. Zencash is the world's first private, distributed, and reliable platform for communications, transactions, and publishing. Zencash has the ability to use both transparent and shielded transactions, with shielded transactions using zero-knowledge proofs. Zencash features global governance with inclusive decision-making, reliable funding for continuous improvements, and documentation and wallets in many languages that are available for Linux, Mac, Windows, and Android devices. Learn more at zencash.com. UPI reports a group of 4 cities filed a lawsuit against President Donald Trump and his administration for violating the Constitution by attempting to sabotage the Affordable Care Act. The cities of Baltimore, Maryland, Chicago, Illinois, Columbus, and Cincinnati, Ohio, along with 2 individuals, filed the lawsuit in the U.S. District Court for the District of Maryland, alleging Trump violated Article 2 of the Constitution, which requires the president to take care that all laws be faithfully executed while they remain in place. Although attempts to repeal the Affordable Care Act have failed, Columbus City Attorney Zach Klein said that Trump has sought to sabotage the health care law through his words and actions since he took office. The complaint cites actions taken, including making it easier for individuals and trade groups to purchase coverage outside the law's insurance markets, threatening to eliminate cost-sharing reduction payments, cutting funding for those who help individuals enroll in the program, and using federal funds Congress dedicated to implementing the law towards making videos criticizing it. When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Reuters reports Native American tribes that tried to block the Dakota Access Pipeline during a months-long standoff with authorities in North Dakota more than a year ago are carrying on their fight in federal court in what they contend is a symbol of their ongoing struggle for tribal sovereignty. Danielle Tashina Finn, a spokeswoman for the Standing Rock Sioux, said, "People think Standing Rock has come and gone," referring to the site of the protest. "But we will continue this fight until we are heard and the world knows what happened to us." The pipeline, owned by Energy Transfer Partners LP, has been operational since June 2017 after President Donald Trump granted its permit over the objection of tribes and environmentalists fearful that it would pollute a waterway sacred to the Standing Rock and Cheyenne River Sioux. The pipeline approval, part of Trump's desire to increase domestic energy production, distressed Native people in the United States and Canada who were concerned that it discounted indigenous rights. The Standing Rock and Cheyenne Sioux sued the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers soon after Trump ordered it to approve the pipeline, arguing that the tribes had not been been properly consulted. U.S. District Judge James Boasberg in Washington, D.C. is weighing whether the court adequately considered effects on the tribe before approving the pipeline. He is expected to issue his decision by August 10th. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
Last month, the FDA approved Hallucex, a new class of weight loss drug that helps users avoid overeating by producing nightmarish hallucinations whenever food is around. Hallucex targets the brain's cerebral cortex, stimulating the centers responsible for fear and visual processing. Test subjects reported an unprecedented decrease in appetite and showed dramatic weight loss, with only 18% reporting night terrors or subsequent cardiac arrest.
It's designed to make fatty and sugary foods even scarier. An apple just looks like it has fangs, but a milkshake will threaten you and your family by name.
Earlier incarnations of the drug proved to be too powerful and produced mental states in which test subjects no longer believed that food had ever existed. An unshakable belief that the subject had to eat all of the food on the planet in order to prevent food from rising up and destroying the human race.
No, you don't understand. I have to do this.
Or the conviction that food could be negotiated with diplomatically. With the Lab Report, I'm Aisha Patel.
This is the Onion News Network.
Hey everybody, and welcome to the Torchwood Report. I am Matthew Taylor, joined as always by the one true Niz. Today is Friday, August 3rd, 2018, and after our small hiatus, we are finally back. But before we jump into the cram-packed show we've got in store for you, I'm going to kick it over to Niz with our weekly announcement.
This broadcast is covered by the BIPCOT no government license. That means that you are free to use or rebroadcast portions or segments of this show so long as you are not an agent or advocate for government. If you fail to heed this warning, you will be socially shamed. For more information, please visit bipcot.org. That's BIPCOT.org.
So, Niz, I think, we've got all this stuff in store for everybody. We're going to get into that in a moment, but I think we owe everybody a little bit of an explanation because we just kind of, we're gone for a couple weeks. So we were here, we said we're going to be back, and then gone. And why don't you let everybody know what had us pulled away for a little bit?
Babies. My wife had a baby. My daughter was she was supposed to be due on the 28th of July. And she said, don't tell me what to do, statist. And she decided she wanted to come on the 18th of July instead, which kind of left us in the lurch a little bit because we had planned on doing a show that Friday, but because of her early arrival, we weren't able to. And here we are. We're back.
What was kind of funny is I thought I had said something prior to us going off our personal chat after air after our last show, and I checked it before we hooked up before pre-air today, and I had said to you right before we went off air, it's like best of luck. Hope I see you next week, but this is number 2, so we could come at any time. And you're like, yeah, we're prepared, but it's probably not going to happen. And then we take a 2-week hiatus because there she comes. But happen? On behalf of everyone here at LRN Studios, as well as all the listeners, we all want to say congratulations. And
thanks.
Along with that, now let's go ahead and start this show off. So a lot of crazy stuff have happened since we've been off air that don't involve our personal lives. And I think the number one spot that we should start off with on our map carousel of craziness that we're going to, just trouse through with tonight has to start with the West Coast over in California and this new ban that is popping up all over the state in local cities and larger cities and municipalities and whatnot that is
it's all over the country. I mean, it's all over the country.
It's popping up in not only the media, but also in just in general. The topic is catching a lot of steam, just because unlike the different places throughout the country that did it, here and there, California in one fell swoop was like, okay, this place, here, and here, all agree with this, so you can't do it here now. And on top of that, these are the punishments. Have at it. And it's the punishments that are catching a lot of people's ear. But what I'm finding is happening a lot here with this topic, and I don't know if you've noticed it either. People are really aware of what the punishment is, but not who it applies to. People are under the impression that if they are sitting there in McDonald's and they're drinking their soda and the straw Nazi walks in and sees you, the black bag Gestapo is going to come in, put the bag over your head. They're going to steal the straw. They're going to, maybe, rough up an old person and drag you out for drinking out of your straw. And that's not really exactly what's going to go on here. In fact, the everyday person, even if seen drinking with a plastic straw, is not the one who's going to be receiving any fine. In fact, these bans aren't placed against the individual at all. It's actually against businesses that are the ones distributing them. So this is more meant for cutting it down on those who are, distributing them in a large quantity. So the first offense, if I remember right, is a $500 fine, or it's either $500 or $5,000. Going through my notes here, maybe you can find it.
Well, they keep changing. I think it's evolving, right. Because I know that I've heard several different instances of fines and jail time and stuff for this in Santa Barbara. Before I say this, let me just preface this with this particular little bit of information, is that Seattle actually became the first major city in the U.S. to ban plastic straws. That was in September of 2017. However, it did have an exemption for compostable plastic straws, and they made any violation and infraction punishable by a $250 fine.
But
the difference here is in Santa Barbara, they've banned even compostable straws.
Now, see, this is again though goes down to those who are providing, not those who are using the straw.
Well, it still doesn't make any difference. Come on, that doesn't make any difference. Doesn't make it any more dumb.
Trust me, I'm sitting here legitimately face palming as we're talking about what is and is not the legality of the use of a straw in a state that legitimately just passed legalized marijuana. Like, you can smoke.
Well, it's not even that, man. It's not even that, dude. It's not even that. Let's. You can legally. Let's say you have HIV. Mm-hmm. You can in California, because they repealed a law that previously had made it a felony.
Right.
You can now legally have HIV, which obviously you can legally have HIV, but you don't have to inform a sex partner that you are HIV positive. You can intentionally infect another